Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Moyna Bass Fishes. I am Jim Moyna, professional bass fisherman. In this video, we're going to talk about the St. Croix River on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And this would be my second practice day out here. I didn't get to fish all day. I had to take some time to do a little bit of promotional work this morning, but I got out on the water probably at about 11:30 or so. And fished all the way till like 8:30. So really, it's pretty much almost a full day, really, if you think of it. So, but not, it's like 8-9 hours out there. That's a good long time. So, anyways, so this would be practicing for the Champions Tour tournament. That's going to be this coming Tuesday. And what's really unique about what they do at their tournaments is they always divide the fishery in half, which poses a bit of a dilemma for the competitor. And that's, for example, in St. Croix here, they never tell you how they're going to divide it until the night before the tournament, at the registration and rules meeting. So you got to fish. You got to go through all the practice without knowing how they're going to divide it, and how that affects the competitor is. I basically feel like I have to find fish in four quadrants of the fishery. So, for example, on the St. Croix River, see, they could divide it upstream and downstream. Say from the Hudson Bridge, where we're going out of. There's probably about 10 miles or so upstream and then about 15 miles downstream. So they could divide it like that. One half of the day you fish above the bridge, the other half of the day you fish below the bridge. Or they could do it, and this is what they did on Big Stone Lake last year, which is borders the Dakotas and Minnesota, South Dakota and Minnesota, is they could divide it, we could all have to fish the Wisconsin side first and then the Minnesota side second. So one half is the Wisconsin side, one half is the Minnesota side. So you have to prepare for either option. So, which is why I end up trying to find fish in four different quadrants of the fisheries. So, I don't want to get stuck where I don't want to just assume they're going to go up, above the bridge, upstream of the bridge and downstream of the bridge. I don't want to just assume that, because what if I do, what if then downstream all my fish are on the Wisconsin side, and which is fine if it's a, upstream downstream split, but if they divide it according to the state, if they divide it by the state, well, if all my fish are on Wisconsin side, what am I going to do for them? I mean, maybe I'll have fish upstream. I mean, I don't know. You just end up having to fish all over the place and finding fish everywhere, which is kind of hard because it's time consuming. You can't, you really can't. It's different because, like, in a regular tournament, if I find an area of fish and I'm practicing for a regular tournament, well, then I'll just expand that area, that section of the lake. But you can't do that because you can't have all your fish in one area in the way they divide it up. You have to have fish in different parts of the lake. So no matter how they split it, you got options. And that requires extra days of practice fishing, which is kind of the reason why I've put so much practice into this tournament. I'm going to have like 6 days of practice fishing for this one-day tournament, which is a lot. And that's more than, I even thought when I left to come here, I'm like, why did I schedule so many days for practice fishing? But now I'm glad I did, because I'm going to need it. Because there's not fish everywhere out here, but there are fish to be caught. Today I caught some small. It seems like it's mainly a smallmouth fishery. This is going to be the first tournament I ever fish here, by the way, and it seems like it's mainly a smallmouth fishery. Although there are some largemouth, but it seems like you can catch a lot more smallmouths than you can largemouths. They both count, either one. The white bass here, oh my gosh. Okay, white bass don't count in any tournament, but this is a really good white bass fishery. Really good. Some of you may call them sand bass. Up here we call them white bass. There's lots of them, and there's good size to them. I'm catching, my average size is probably like 1 3/4 pounds. I'm catching some over 2 pounds. I caught one today that was like a 2.5 pounder. These are nice white bass. I don't see white bass like this in most places. Some places you do, but this is just quality white bass fishing, and there's a lot of them. If I knew what I was doing, I don't know. I can't get many of them to bite though. That's I was gonna say that's the problem, but it's really not a problem, because I shouldn't be wasting my time with them. But I don't know. You get around them, and it's fun to make a throw at them, anyways. But what's weird, the thing that makes it tough though, is with the forward sonar. A lot of times you don't know if you're looking at white bass or if you're looking at smallmouth bass, and they're the same size out here, because the smallmouths typically. I haven't caught one. I haven't caught one over 2.5 pounds in the 2 days I've been out here. So and you got all these 2 pound white bass swimming around, so it's kind of hard to know what you're throwing at. You just throw at everything. Plus, there's tons of walleyes in some of these places, so, and it seems like it's a pretty good walleye fishery too. If a guy knew what he was doing walleye fishing, he could probably really blast them out here. I'm catching them just off of bass baits every once in a while. But if a guy really went after it and knew what he was doing, I'm sure he'd connect with them often. All right, so let's see. What else do we need to talk about? I'm not going to talk about exactly how I'm catching them, because I got to hold that close to the chest until the tournament's completed. But what else? This lake's just got so many things. I caught a long-nosed gar today. I haven't caught a long-nosed gar in forever. It's probably like, I don't know, it's like a 3-footer maybe, 2.5, 3 foot, something like that. Caught that. Caught, there's cat. I haven't caught any catfish, which is really weird, or drum. I haven't caught any drum, because they're all over the place out here. I remember like 35 years ago being out here and pulling up on a spot with, literally I had like 12 boxes of night crawlers. We went through them night crawlers so fast on drum. The crawler would not last more than a minute out there. We got on like the drum mother load of all time out here, but I haven't caught one yet. And I haven't caught a catfish. There's like monster flathead catfish out here, and then there's plenty of channel cats. Haven't caught any of those either. Caught some northern pike, and there's muskie out here, which brings us up an interesting observation. So I've been out on Leech Lake a few times this year, which is a storied, legendary muskie fishery, and I saw no muskie fishermen. And I was there last year a couple times too, and I haven't seen any muskie fishermen on Leech Lake. What is going on? I haven't fished muskies there for like 30 years, and back then there's muskie fishermen all over the place. Now I'm not seeing nobody. Now I come here to the St. Croix, which they've always been muskies here, but I'm seeing quite a few muskie anglers. I didn't know it was that good of a fishery for muskies. But there's guys out here. I mean, I've seen multiple guys throwing the big plugs with the big rods and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, there's just everything in this river. There's eel pout in this river, believe it or not. Because I remember we were seining for bait out here. This is like 30 plus years ago, and we seined up an eel pout, like a small one. There's mud puppies out here. Oh, you know what else I caught out here? Other than a snapping turtle, I did catch a snapping turtle a long time ago. But I caught an American eel out here. It's the only one I've ever caught, and supposedly they spawn. Supposedly they spawn in the Sargasso Sea somewhere, wherever the heck that is. And I don't know how he gets up. I don't know how American eel gets all the way up here if he's spawning out in the ocean. That's just, I can't. That doesn't make sense to me. I think there's somewhere the biology is missing out on understanding this critter. But yeah, American eel, and that sucker was like a full grown one, full grown. Long time ago. There's black crappie, there's white crappie, there's bluegill. This is really a cool fishery. I really like fishing here, and I like most rivers really, but this one is just very interesting. I've never fished a tournament here. We did. I remember a long time ago, we were scheduled to fish a tournament here, and then the water came way up, and then the tournament league canceled the tournament, and we went to some other lake. So that was my only almost tournament I've ever had out here. But all the other fishing I've done out here 35 years ago or more was just it was business related. I used to work for a book publishing company that published outdoor books. So I was out here for that, for those trips a few times. In fact, every time it was for them. Remember coming out here for doing some crappie fishing. The American eel was caught. We were out here what were we trying to catch? A sturgeon, I think. I caught American eel and a snapping turtle that day. No sturgeon. But I've been out here. Oh, I was out here a couple years ago, sturgeon fishing. A guy took me out, and man, we caught some of those. So they're lake sturgeon. Even though they're in the river, they call them lake sturgeon. So yeah, cool place out here to fish. And I know this practice period is going to go by in the blink of an eye, and I barely even covered it. So, because I still have, I've been fishing below the bridge so far, the Hudson Bridge, these first 2 days, and with the thought being there's like monster boats out here. They don't kick up wakes, they kick up swells. And so I'm thinking I'm gonna save my upriver fishing for the weekend when typically there's more boats out on the water. And the reason why that is because upriver you kind of get out of the navigation channel ends, and then you just got to kind of know how to run the river up there, and a lot of the big boats won't venture up there. So at least that's what I'm hoping. So I'm kind of saving that for Saturday and Sunday up there. Anyhow, that's enough for tonight's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll get back at you with some more videos on this river. Over.